For Monday's homework, students are starting a new unit of study that includes thinking about lines and angles and points and things like that. So for students, they're going to draw in the box. If they don't have a straight edge, that's okay. They can do it freehand. If you have a ruler, they can use the side of the ruler. So what they're going to do first is they're going to start with 2 points in the box labeled W and X. And although it's hard to see, students are going to draw a ray. So this indicates an arrow here of a ray. So rays are really specific in that they start at one point and go through a second point, and then have that arrow to indicate that it goes on forever in that direction. And so then students are going to find a new point Y. And then here you can see they're doing a line segment. So a line segment is simply to connect 2 endpoints. So in this case, students are going to connect W and Y, and it's just going to start at one point and end at the other. And then they're going to find another spot, make a point, label it Z, and then they're going to create maybe I'm going to move mine so it's a little bit easier to see. From Z, they have here a line. So a line, you can see, has an arrow on both sides. So they're going to, through Y and Z, make a line. Mine obviously didn't go right through the point, that's okay. And then they're going to put an arrow on both sides. That indicates that that line can go on forever. And then students are going to want to find an angle. So what they learned today is that an angle includes 2 line segments, lines or rays, and they meet at a point. So you can see from Z to Y and Y to W, there's this opening right here that I've shaded in. So this would be angle, I'm going to use the symbol for angle, Z, Y, W. They could also name it W. Y, Z. As long as the vertex, this point where they meet at and we're talking about, is in the center of the name, it works. For 2, students are going to draw 2 points. They're going to first draw a line segment. So the line segment, remember, is just connecting endpoint to endpoint. Then they're going to draw a new point, label it Y, and this one's going to be a ray. Remember, rays are specific. They start at an endpoint, they go through a point, and then they have an arrow on the end. They're going to label point Z, and here they're constructing a line. A line, remember, continues in both directions forever. And then they're going to, when they get to the angle ZWX, they're going to draw an arc. So for instance, here, say here was my ZWX. What the arc is simply showing the opening. That's the arc that they're referring to. And then writing another angle by referencing the point you've already drawn. So if they see that angle, they can just rename it. Alright, this is something that we worked on. Every group got a chance to do in class. So observing familiar figures, labeling some points on each figure. So points on each figure just mean that you pick something where 2 line segments meet and you make a point. So on this, for instance, the clock, I can call this a point. Where these 2 line segment meets is a point. Here's one, here's one. We can see there's lots of opportunities for points. And then they want to label. So for instance, maybe on this one I'll call it A, B, C, D, E. On the die, maybe I'll do points on every corner and then go F, G, H, I, J, K, L. And then on this number line example, I may put a point at 0 and a point at 1, and maybe I'll call them 0 and 1. And so for each one, I need to label and name representations of the following. I need to find rays, lines, line segments, and angles. Well, you can see the line segments are all pretty easy on all of them because they're all built out of line segments. So students should be able to find that easily. A ray, what they are saying to do is extend a segment to show a line in ray. So for instance, I'll show you on the clock, if I extended BE, and I extend this out, I've now created a ray. So I can call it BE and show it as a ray. I could do the same thing on the die. I could extend this line segment, KJ, and call it a ray. On the number line, maybe I should label these as alphabet instead of numbers. Let's call this X and Y. I can call it X, Y, ray. Same thing for the lines. For this one, on the number line, finding an angle, you'd have to extend something off of it to make an angle for it. So that's the only one that really has a challenge. The rest have kind of some built-in examples.